What we are about to talk about today is really shocking when you look at it through the lens of numbers. You may have known this was going to happen for a long time if you pay close attention to the cryptocurrency market, especially Ripple and XRP. Welcome back to Bullion IQ. This is where we break down crypto and money in a way that is easy to understand, so you can stop looking at charts all day and start understanding what's going on. Write a X in the comments and click the like button if you're interested in XRP, Ripple, and real market changes. This will help more people in our Bullion IQ group find this content. Also, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving before we go any further. This journey isn't just about one person, so I'm so thankful for this wonderful group of people. As a group, we are supposed to learn together, hold on together, and stay calm together. And going forward together in a market that is full of fear, manipulation, and pressure to act quickly. A lot of you who are here have already made your plans. You know what XRP is in reality. You know this isn't a normal business that can be valued like a stock. This is a digital good, a strong cryptocurrency that can be used in the real world, that is meant to fix big problems in global finance, especially when it comes to sending money across borders. This asset is different from most other tokens in this area because of this. XRP isn't just a bunch of hype. It's about purpose, speed, cutting costs, and a new kind of financial system that the world has never seen before. That's also why a strong group is needed to get through the tough times. People in the community help each other out when the price is going down, bad news comes out, or the market feels heavy. I want them to win too, even if there are people who hate XRP and say bad things about it all over the internet, because in the end, success in this market is not about personal attacks. It's about seeing the future before everyone else does. Let's talk about the numbers now, as this is where things really start to interesting. Since the beginning, XRP ETFs have not seen a single withdrawal. That means these funds haven't put much pressure on sellers yet. Solana, on the other hand, just recently reported losing about $8 million. It's easy to see the change. Money doesn't just move around at random. It picks places where it feels strong. And that strength is going into XRP right now. This is real demand that keeps coming in. Not just one big pump and dump event, but a steady buildup. This backs up something we've been talking about for months on Bullion IQ. When the ETFs did come out, Wall Street was going to jump in with both feet because big businesses know what XRP can do at its core. They know that payments between countries don't work right now, and that Ripple's technology is the real answer. Also, companies like Franklin Templeton and Canary have already changed what they hold in XRP this Christmas season. The numbers really open your eyes. Franklin Templeton has tens of millions of dollars worth of XRP exposure, while Canary has well over $150 million worth of exposure. And just putting these four funds together brings the total amount of money managed over $300 million in the first week. Not like that at all. That's not just a bunch of small players having fun. That's how institutional capital positions itself early before most people know what's going on. We're still not done. Because new XRP ETFs are about to go live, and big names like Vanguard, Fidelity, or even BlackRock could join the fray at any time. When that does happen, it will make a lot of people want to buy things that most people aren't even ready for. This is where the thought of a supply shock comes in. Price can only really go up if demand keeps going up and supply stays low. It won't just be ETFs that cause this. Also, big macro factors are coming together, such as clearer rules from regulators, financial institutions entering the space, and even global giants like MasterCard saying that crypto is entering a new age of trust and openness. When it comes to markets, fear and confidence are the strongest feelings. At the moment, trust is slowly coming back. Liquidity goes up when trust does, and price goes up when liquidity comes in. What's going on with XRP right now is not just a random time in the market when we look at the bigger picture. This is a small part of a bigger change that has been happening for years. XRP has been one of the most misunderstood investments in the crypto space for a long time. Many people thought it was over because of the legal battles, the bad press, and the fact that the price wasn't moving as quickly as it did with other coins in earlier cycles. The smart money, on the other hand, doesn't move with noise. It moves slowly, with facts and a long-term view in mind. And now, for the first time in a long time, we're starting to see that the quiet people start to do something big. One big reason institutions are becoming more interested in XRP is that they know that the system for making payments across borders is broken. It takes a long time, costs a lot, and often has a lot of banks, agents, and hidden fees involved when you want to send money from one country to another today. It can take days or even longer to settle. This waste of time and money is a big problem for big businesses and governments that handle billions of dollars every day. Here's where XRP and Ripple's tech come in. XRP was made to be quick, cheap and useful. There is no need to wait days for transactions to settle. It costs a small part of what it does in the old method. This is not only appealing to places that value speed and efficiency, it is a huge step forward. This is the reason XRP isn't just another investment. It is a piece of infrastructure. With this new layer, different currencies, banks, and payment methods can talk to each other in real time. There is no quick trade in mind when Wall Street hedge funds and asset managers look at something like that. They are thinking about how they can get ahead in a system that could be used all over the world in the future and how it will be useful in the short term. That's the level of thought behind the money coming into ETFs right now. Not just the next pump, but also the future is being planned for. A big thing that a lot of people forget is how early it is still. Many people still don't have any XRP, even though ETFs have been in the news lately and XRP is getting more attention. Most small buyers are interested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the newest meme coin. In other words, XRP still has a lot of room to grow in terms of acceptance, use in the real world, and being known about. Institutions know better than anyone else that the best benefits come from being in the right place at the right time. But we can't ignore the way people think about the market either. People who own XRP have had to deal with sadness, doubt, and anger for years. In this way, a new kind of investment is made. It makes people either very weak and ready to give up, or very strong and sure of what they believe. When things finally start to go right, the weak hands are already gone. What's left are a core group of followers and some new buyers who are sure of themselves. This set works really well together. The price can go up very quickly because there is less pressure to sell and more strongholding in the market. We are also moving into a time when rules are slowly becoming more clear. Crypto isn't going away, and governments and officials are starting to get that. Instead of fighting it, they are working to make it stronger. For big money, clarity is very important. Institutions and big investors don't like not knowing what will happen. People are more likely to join a market when the rules are clear, even if they are strict. That's why any step toward more control is actually a sign of hope. Also, it makes it safer for more money to move into digital assets like XRP. By putting together institutional interest, real-world utility, rising confidence, falling supply, and clearer regulations, you can start to see why many experts think a big move is not only possible, but very likely. The market doesn't always go in a straight line. Pullbacks, fear, and times of doubt will always be there. However, the main direction is determined by facts, not feelings. And every day, the basics of XRP are slowly getting stronger. This is why it's so important to not let short-term noise take your attention away. There will be a lot of hype and fear on social media, but statistics and events in the real world show a much more calm and logical picture. XRP is getting ready to be an important part of the next banking system. No matter how that turns out in 6 months or 2 years, people who understand this early are very strong. And our job at Bullion IQ is not to tell you what to do. Instead, we want to give you the facts, insights, and understanding. You need to make smart choices in a world that is changing faster than ever. You are already ahead of most people if you are still here reading, learning, and building yourself. Smart money doesn't make a lot of noise. It's slow, quiet, and planned out. And right now, everything points to the fact that something big is happening below the surface. Wait it out. Keep up with news. Most of the time, the big move comes when no one is looking. Smart owners and big businesses don't wait for the news to be all over the place. They sneak in quietly while most people are still not sure about the asset. This seems to be the phase that XRP is in right now. But the news is still not fully bullish. The majority of people still don't believe it, and a lot of them are stuck on old stories from the past. The data, on the other hand, is slowly showing a very different picture. It is very important to pay attention to the fact that XRP ETFs are steadily getting more money while other popular investments are losing money. This isn't a mistake, and it's not emotional store money either. There is a change from guesswork to planning. That is a very strong sign that a market is getting older. Almost everything in the early days of crypto was based on hype, promoters, and making quick money. Big players now want to see real use cases, real infrastructure, and real answers. That's a great way to describe XRP because it's not trying to replace the present system right away. Instead, it is trying to fix and speed up parts of the system that aren't working right. That is a much smarter and more sensible way to do things. Banks, governments, payment companies, and even people who use XRP need something that can work with what is already out there. The world economy is also changing at the same time. There is more stress in traditional banking systems, inflation in many places, and people are losing faith in centralized financial organizations. When this happens, it makes sense that other methods would be more appealing. But this doesn't mean that traditional banking goes away. Instead, it means that digital assets become more important as a new tool and a hedge. In a strange way, XRP is in a middle ground between the old and new systems. It's a bridge, and bridges are very useful when two sides need to join. Time is another thing we need to talk about. It has been seen that big changes in the cryptocurrency market happen when people are bored or angry. If nothing interesting seems to be happening for a long time, stress is likely to be rising the most. Along with other big coins, XRP has been going sideways for a very long time. This has made a lot of people give up or stop going. On the other hand, this long time of consolidation can be a very good sign. Building a strong base is what it means. And the move can be very powerful when something finally breaks out of a strong base. Then we bring up the idea of a supply shock once more. There is only so much XRP available, and a lot of it is already locked up, held, or used in systems. If more ETFs, banks, and payment networks want XRP, there will be less for sale on the open market. Price must go up when demand goes up and supply stays the same or goes down, according to basic economics. This is an easy but very useful rule that can be used in any market, like gold, real estate, oil, or cryptocurrency. A lot of people are still waiting for proof before they believe. They are looking for a big green candle, a news story that goes viral, or a well-known person to start talking positively about XRP. Of course, that will happen after a big part of the move is over. In any market, the best chances are usually the ones that make you feel the most uncomfortable. The things that make them useful are that they are quiet, dull, and full of doubt. The way you think is another thing that matters here. A lot of people get into crypto thinking it's a way to get rich quick. When you think that way, you almost always make bad choices. You can get real wealth by being patient, disciplined, and aware of cycles. People who own XRP, especially those who have held on through tough times, are learning one of the most important lessons in investing. You have to wait to get what you want. This means being able to wait for a bigger prize in the future instead of getting small wins right away. That's the difference between people who will win in the long run and everyone else. At the moment, everything points to a time of change. Things are getting ready for the big players to make moves, and the system is slowly coming together. We're no longer looking at hopeless or blind confidence. We are looking at facts, changes in strategy, movements of capital, and rising trust. This doesn't mean that something will happen right away, but it strongly suggests that things are not going down. It makes me think of XRP's progress, expansion, and a new beginning. That makes the real question easy. Are you going to pay attention to the short-term noise or the long-term change that is happening in the background? Because the people who know what's going on now are the ones who will say, "This is where it all began to make sense to me." And at Bullion IQ, we want you to be in that group, not the one that shows up late and doesn't understand how they missed it. Now let's talk about how people act, since charts and numbers don't move prices alone in any market. Fear, trust, and belief are some of the things that move it. This is one of the forces in crypto that people don't think about enough. People still don't know much about XRP right now. Some say it had its chance a long time ago. Some people think that the court problems hurt its reputation. Some people gave up because the gains did not come as quickly as they wanted. But this question is one of the best signs that the market is going up.